everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful episode of Matcha Talk. Today I'll be talking with Bart Mauceri. He is an amazing photographer and an inspiration to me. Always positive and a very big supporter of Bad Day Kate and the babies. I'm so excited to share his story with you. He also runs a Facebook page, which I love and adore, called Cafe Mauceri, and I'm definitely a very big patron of. So everybody, grab those matchas and let's get started with Matcha Talk with the incredible Bart Mauceri. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful episode of Matcha Talk with the incredibly talented Bart Mauceri, pronounced in Italian as Bart Mauceri. Did I say that right?
Mauceri.
Mauceri.
There we go. There we go.
Bart, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on my Matcha Talk because, as I said in my intro earlier, your photography is absolutely incredible. You are so inspiring to me, and I appreciate your support on my shows, Bad Day Kate and the babies, because you've been an incredible supporter, and I just appreciate you so much, and I'm so excited to share your wonderful story with everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm super excited. So are you ready? Because I've got my
Let's do
matcha,
it.
and I know that you have your matcha.
In a mason jar.
Yes, you do. So let's get started, Bart. So tell me kind of your background because, you know, you and I were talking earlier and you were saying how you got into photography, and it's really amazing because looking at the beautiful photos that you have behind you, I'm just like always inspired by your beautiful photography. So share.
All right. I've always been intrigued by photography. I have three relatives on my mother's side who were photographers, and I would ask each of them, first things first, which is the best brand? I mean, one would say, "Oh no, go for Leica," or the other one would say, "No, Nikon." But my late grandfather, my mother's late father, showed me his camera. It was the classic Pentax K1000, and he made a deal with me that one day, if or when I decide to choose photography as a career and sign up for photography classes, that camera was mine. So that's what I did. But going back, photography was never in the cards for me. I was slated to be a studio artist, but I took one course just as a filler, and I borrowed my late father's Nikon, and I loved how it felt in my hands. I loved how it works, and then I kept playing with it, and once I took that course, I started developing my own film, and developed my own prints, and I looked at them. I'm like, okay, I may have something here. I'm going to buy a few more rolls, and if this is something I like, I'm going to toss um, being a studio artist and go with photography. And after developing those roles and those prints, I was amazed with myself that I could do that. And and spring of '91, I took my father's camera. I was also a student human rights activist with Amnesty International. So I went to one of its uh, one of its weekend conferences, and I started taking photos of the whole event, and then one of its keynote speakers was a released political prisoner.
Mm.
And after that whole event, and I dropped off my film. Actually, I developed my own film, and then I looked at the quality. I was like, "Whoa, I definitely have something here." And then
Yes, you do.
and and at first, I wanted to study photojournalism,
Mm-hmm.
and and after many years of taking these photography courses at a local art school in Danbury, Connecticut, I decided to enroll in New York Institute of Photography in 1995. And that's where and that was when that I upgraded myself from the Pentax manual focus to a Minolta autofocus, as I like the speed and the efficiency. I just wanted to take without manually focusing the lens, focusing on the subject. This camera could do it for me.
So I have to, and you kind of grew. You looked at your art, and this was something that you really enjoyed, and you said, you
Yeah,
know what, I actually have something pretty amazing here, and I have this
yeah,
incredible talent. And tell me, because you are such an inspiration as a person, Bart. Like, tell me about, when you did do the photography for Amnesty International, and how powerful that was. And when you did look at those pictures, and, and how powerful those moments were, that you got to share them with everybody. That experience must have been absolutely incredible.
it was. It showed. I think uh, it showed the human side of photography. I mean, it's not the egotistical or a narcissistic side of it. It's more. Uh, I mean, my photography uh, is more true, more
Mm-hmm.
honest,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows what the surroundings are, what my surroundings are really like.
Mm-hmm.
Even even today when I go around Lake Norman, North Carolina, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I see I see God's beauty everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and and even and and it's truly amazing how uh, it's truly amazing how I see I see God uh, as an artist, and we are all surrounded by His work.
I mean, there's just like it definitely is, Bart. In your images, there's they definitely evoke emotion, passion and beauty, and that's surrounding us at all times. I mean, it truly, truly is. And that's what inspires us as artists. and you live in a beautiful, beautiful area, which, you're constantly surrounded by inspiration, and you yourself being an inspiration as well, because I think that, we have to open our eyes and see that there's so much beauty in this world and so much good and so much positivity. And I feel like a lot of times we're fed that everything is terrible and all of this, and as artists it's our mission that we have to show the beauty of life, and definitely call to awareness the things that are not okay and are not beautiful, but with awareness and us bringing that into the light, that's where we can really, really share and make a difference together. And I feel like, you just by who you are and what you do and we'll get into that, you know what I mean, with
Oh
your
yeah.
wonderful, Facebook page, which you have, which is your virtual Cafe Mauceri.
Oh
And
yeah.
which I love, and you share, and you have a beautiful community, which I love. And it's like, I have my coffee, and then I become a patron of your cafe in the morning and just read your beautiful, inspiring quotes and your wonderful members. And then also by you, working together with the wonderful Susan Winter, who is an incredible writer at Huffington Post, and her sharing your photography with her beautiful motivational quotes. So talk to me about that.
Wow. Okay. Uh, wow. How did this? Wow. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. How did this begin? I just, I've been looking at her, at her graphics, at her quotes, and I'm, yeah, I was looking at them, and I thought to myself, what if I make her quotes pop with my photography? And I started playing around with uh, with my collection, and and I emailed one to her and got a reply, and she was just blown away that 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 my photography could bring life to her quotes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it started.
I'm smiling from ear to ear because you both, Susan, again, is absolutely amazing. And I appreciate her so much as well, because she's such a wonderful supporter of mine, and I of hers, because you are so right. Like, her motivational quotes and just who she is just such a wonderful person. And you both together is like magical.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
whenever I see your work together, I'm just like, I can't help but glow. These two beautiful people bringing their wonderful art together is just absolutely magical. And thank you so much for that, both of you. And now I want to circle back to, you went to the New York uh,
Institute of Photography in the
photography.
city.
Yes, absolutely. So tell me about that, because New York, and me being from New York, talk about a lot of different places that you can shoot photos and get inspired. Yes?
Yeah, and being that I used to I lived in Ridgefield, Connecticut, and it was
Mm,
just us. And I could just take a subway from nearby Branchville, Connecticut to Grand Central. Now I would just spend a few hours there, a few hours in the city, or just around Grand Central, and and I would and I took some uh, great study shots, both in panning,
mm-hmm,
because there's a lot of motion uh, that surrounded me,
mm-hmm.
and
Oh yeah. There's There's definitely a lot of emotion that surrounds you. I mean, just like, and there's so many stories to tell,
Oh yeah,
aren't there?
and
Yeah.
and yeah, and and after my time at the at at that school at New York Institute of Photography, uh, I was officially certified a photojournalist, and then that was when I started working for a series of local newspapers in and around Ridgefield, Connecticut. I mean, they didn't. They didn't. I mean, it didn't pay much, but uh, the main thing was to be very consistent with how many assignments I get and the quality of the work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you were doing what you love,
Yeah, absolutely. And
you
then
know? Yeah.
oh yeah, um, and then I think it was in 1999. Something uh, uh, something uh, something hit me, and because I remember being a child, I mean, I've been a lighthouse lover since I was a kid, and 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 I was surrounded by these beautiful lighthouses. I mean, along the Connecticut coast, and and one day I decided, and I planned this trip, uh, this weekend outing to Block Island, Rhode Island,
Mm.
and 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 it
I
was
love New
and,
England.
oh yeah,
Yes. Oh,
and
beautiful. Yes.
oh I know,
Yeah.
not living down here, I miss going to that. I miss going to Block Island,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. Anyhow, um, the only way to get to Block Island was by ferry from New London, Connecticut, and and I looked, and I was on board. And one day I was on board a ferry going to the island. I
Mm-hmm.
looked, and there were two lighthouses just ahead, uh, in the New London Harbor. Uh, One is called obviously New London Harbor Light, and the other one is called New London Ledge.
Mm.
It's an offshore lighthouse, and I whipped out my camera, started taking photos of each one, and then together. And and then once I arrived and went to my hotel, I got my gear ready and walked
Mm.
walked to the nearest lighthouse, which was southeast by Mohican Bluffs.
Mm-hmm.
As I mean, that's not a far walk. I mean, it's like a mile. It's about a mile from where I would from the hotel I was staying to the lighthouse.
And a beautiful walk at that.
It, it is, and I've spent several hours, and that was enough.
You knew that was it.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. I kept
Uh,
and then after that booking I kept booking trips surrounding lighthouses. I think the another major was to Martha's Vineyard
mm-hmm.
in the spring of
Beautiful.
2000, and another one to Boston Lighthouse, which I
Mm-hmm.
spent an entire day. One of the photos I've taken of that lighthouse was inside its lantern room. That won uh, that won an award through. I was also a member of the Ridgefield Guild of Artists, and I won my first award. Uh, I I
How
know
exciting.
that was, and then
I mean, it's like, and you do it because you love it. And it's
I
not
I
like you're
do.
looking for, I was, saying like you're looking for awards and all of this. But when it comes
Nope.
from your heart and it's recognized and you
Uh-huh.
get that recognition, that it's a wonderful feeling. That you're doing what you love
Absolutely.
and that other people love it as well. And I think for me, that's definitely something to celebrate. Absolutely.
That was. Oh, it was, and I think it was, in a way, it was bittersweet because I mean, when I won this award, I found out that sadly my father um, was given a year or two. He was diagnosed with an, an advanced form of cancer, stage four colon cancer, and it's already spread. And I dedicated it to my father.
I'm
He
so
was the one.
sorry. That
Thank you. And
that is, I mean, cancer is just absolutely, absolutely horrifying, and
it
it's
is.
it's so so difficult, and I'm so sorry to hear that, Bart. That
Thank you.
having that, and then I couldn't imagine. It definitely is. It's tough, and I've lost people close to me. My uncle, to cancer, and it's just it really is. It's really an evil disease, and
It is.
it's hard. Yeah.
And and um, instead of saying, oh, I won this award for my craft, I said, I'm doing this for my father.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
the one who kept kicking me in the butt and said, "No, you got this.
That's
Uh,
right.
you got this, son."
Yes. An inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Inspiring you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And uh, and being that he was a youth minister,
Mm.
he brought that uh, he brought that inspiration. He gave that type of inspiration to um, uh, members of his ministry, and and gave that to me.
Because
Gave that to everyone.
yeah.
Even my other siblings.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so amazing how our parents do inspire us, and I say family is so important. And I know for me, my parents, all growing up always said, definitely have big dreams, work hard. It's going to be challenging, educate yourself, go to school, do what you love, and always believe in yourself, right? No matter how challenging it
Absolutely.
gets, be strong, have integrity, persevere, and keep going because if you work hard, you love what you do, you're going to be successful,
Oh,
and it's so true.
exactly.
Yeah.
And um, um, what um, and once I moved down here, I kind of put my career on hold because I was getting ready to move from Connecticut to North Carolina, and that's when I got it back, got my career back and running, and I celebrated um, uh, my residency in in North Carolina with a week long stay along the Outer Banks.
Wow. What was
And
that
because
like?
oh, you got to go.
uh,
You got you and your husband have to go
okay,
because
I'll
it
tell
is.
Jason.
Oh
I will
yeah,
absolutely
and
let him know. Yes.
and my main purpose was to photograph every lighthouse on the Outer Banks, and it
Mm,
started. And although it began with Ocracoke Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, of course, I took photos of that, and they turned out great.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got to Cape Hatteras, that changed. I looked up, and I was like, "Oh crap! That's a tall lighthouse." They, um, the historians were not joking. And I'm like, okay, is it open? Because there is no way in hell I'm going to climb 300
Wow.
steps. Yeah.
That's a workout.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, how many steps are in a lighthouse? Like if you were to go up to the top,
I think
what's
it
like your
depends.
standard?
I think it depends on. I think it depends on
Everyone is
the
different.
everything. The height of the lighthouse. I mean, even if you go to, let's say, Brant Point Lighthouse on Nantucket, it's
Mm-hmm.
only like, I mean, it's only, I think, 20 or 24, or I think 24 or 30 feet high, and it's only um, 36 steps or something like that.
So when we're talking 36 steps and then we're talking 300, that's a big lighthouse.
Yeah, yeah, and
Wow.
and I spent an entire day at Cape Hatteras,
Mm,
around Cape Hatteras Light,
wow.
and then the next day I decided, my mother came with me, and I wanted her to experience what I do, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the lighthouses, and she was blown away by Hatteras. And then the next day we decided to go on a road trip along Highway 12,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, then we went to Body Island Light, and that's an incredible lighthouse. I mean, and then
Talk to me about that. What makes it incredible?
um, it's uh, it's not just the tower, it's not just the structure itself, it's the surroundings.
Mm,
I mean, it almost looked like a marsh or
mm.
an estuary.
Wow.
Completely
I'm
flat.
like following you on all of these little like roads and journeys and and I love the ocean. I love the water. I just absolutely love it and it's one of the things that I miss most. I
Oh,
think
so
Atlanta
do
is
I.
beautiful, but coming from California, where I just could always go to the water, but then again on the East Coast it's different, especially when you're going up to New England. And I know, like, for me, my love of Vermont and Burlington and and Lake Champlain, and it's just it's a whole other beautiful feeling, and you feel it in your soul. It's like it like wraps your soul up and gives it a big hug. When you see it
Yeah.
like you do, when you see these beautiful lighthouses. And that's why I say, like, New England is just absolutely beautiful, and it
Mm.
has all of these beautiful places. And to have the fortune like you do to be able to take these incredible photos and then share it with all of us.
Oh, you know, I really love to,
Mm-hmm.
inspire people. I mean, I I want to inspire them to say, you don't have to have an expensive camera to take beautiful photos. I mean, you can even use your camera phone.
Mm-hmm.
Go out. I mean, you can even go Lake Norman, or along um, the uh, the Blue Ridge Parkway, or the
Yeah,
Outer Banks, or
beautiful.
or or Charleston, South Carolina,
Absolutely.
right? Or
Yeah.
even or even uh, Davidson, which is near Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
I call it NODA. North Davidson it is the
Noda.
arts
I
the
like
arts
that.
district
Noda.
at NODA. Yeah. It's the arts district of Charlotte.
Mm. So that leads me to, so is that where your gallery event is?
Oh no. Okay. Now getting to that,
Because
uh,
I'm excited to talk about that. And I'm going to park that for
it's
just a moment because I
sure.
want to know from you, Bart.
Hmm.
You shot film, and I love that you said, get your phone out and, and shoot pictures. Like, go
Yeah.
anywhere. Like, there's definitely, even in your backyard, there's something that's inspiring, or mountains, or a lake, or water, or whatever it is. And, and now with technology, in our phones being these incredible cameras and video cameras, I mean, truly, you can take the most incredible photos, right? And share them with
Right.
everyone, which is amazing. But how was it for a photographer to go from, shooting film, which a lot of photographers still do? They do both, they do film and digital, and then kind of that transition, and what is that like? And are you still shooting film, or did you go completely digital? And what was that transition like?
Wow. Um,
I know it's a
that
lot,
was
right?
that was rough, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. My last photo shoot, and while I was visiting Connecticut, I went to drop off my film in my favorite lab, um,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite 1 hour photo lab, and they told me, I'm sorry, we no longer develop film. We went 100% digital. So I had to go around all over Mooresville, and I mean, at least I found one
Mm-hmm.
that still develops film, and 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 that they gave me a discount because I went out of my way to search for this lab, and I kind of knew that this would this that I would be making some um, huge changes in my career,
Yeah.
and and one of them they had, and that one would be going converting from film to digital, and that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the next year, all all the labs that I dealt with
Mm-hmm.
went completely digital,
Mm-hmm.
and and I had three choices: either uh, send my film send my film out with the very likelihood that I won't get my negatives back.
Mm-hmm.
Number two uh, would be going back to where I started, developing my own film,
Mm-hmm.
but I looked at the catalog,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, my trusty photography catalog, and there were no chemicals to develop color film,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I've been using.
Mm-hmm.
Or or go digital myself.
Mm-hmm.
Put my film cameras away, and rent out a digital camera, see uh, what it's like, and that's exactly what I did. Went I went back to Connecticut for a holiday hiatus,
Mm-hmm.
sabbatical, and my baby sister handed me her digital camera. It was a high end digital camera.
Mm-hmm.
I held it, and then just I took photos of the woods surrounding her home,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked. My jaw dropped. I had that aha moment.
Absolutely. I'm like listening to you. I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Yeah. It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. And then um, And then,
I have to say, because I love shooting photos and videos on my phone. I mean, I truly do, especially with my babies. And there's so many moments that, we have the fortune now that we can capture, and share and have in our memories and all of that. And also just how beautiful, the photos look, and how we can edit them, and use different lenses and all of that right in our hands. So I'm following you as a photographer and your eye, and just going, taking this camera and going with, and being open. I think that's what I love, Bart, that you said. You were like, well, I can still do film, but I'm going to be open and go with change and see where this takes my creativity. Right? So this is like, I've had
yeah,
film, and like, let me see where digital is going to take me, and what I can do with this new form of art, and that's what you did. And that's where you are now. So tell me, so you took these photos around the home, and you were like, aha moments. I love
yeah,
those.
and right away I downloaded them to onto my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Clean started cleaning them up using Photoshop,
Mm-hmm.
and then and I decided to post them on my on my photography site,
Mm-hmm.
A Journey in Images,
Mm-hmm.
and posted them on my website's Facebook page, and and uh, the visitors, my friends, they were like, "Oh, wow!"
Yes.
Uh, and then one day, it was one, and then one day, one night, e- everyone everyone was asking what they want for Christmas. It was one of those Christmas story moments,
Yeah.
and then my sister and my sister, her husband, and my mother asked me what would I want, and I paused for a few seconds, and I said a digital camera like yours, and then I said, okay, be surprised, and then one Christmas, after opening what I describe as junk gifts, or just that I could just take it or leave it, but my sister pointed to the floor, and there was one other gift at my feet. So I picked it up,
Mm-hmm.
put it on the table, on the dining room table, opened it, and my jaw dropped.
Mm.
I'm like, oh wow, my own camera, my own digital camera. This is awesome. And
Right.
and um, and a couple of days late, and then a couple of days later, I started going around Bridgewater, Connecticut, and New Milford,
Mm-hmm.
and I took I took some gorgeous shots, which uh, which I still have in my collection. And who would have thought this type of camera uh, would be capable of taking some mind blowing photos that never estimate the
Mm-hmm.
power of a point and shoot camera.
Absolutely, but also the artist that's holding the camera,
That's right.
because that's your
That's right.
eye, right? Yeah,
Uh huh.
absolutely. It has to do with the photographer too, and I always say, when you're doing photography, there's so many different styles,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
every artist's eye is different. And so, for you, you have your style, and the way that you share them is unique. and different from, from the other photographers that, that have those cameras in their eye, and how they share what it is that they're taking a photo of. So definitely, we have the devices to be able to help us, but really it's us and our vision that brings it to life in only the way that we can.
You're absolutely right. And
Yeah.
and then I started writing my first blog about what it's like to go from film to digital. Um, a lot of people supported me. They were like, "Good for you, Bart," and the others were like, "Bart, you're a sellout."
Mm.
Uh, how?
Go ahead.
I'm like, really?
I, mm. Well, and here's the thing is like, and really, what are you selling out, and what, and that's kind of like where I have my, really, like, the thing is, you're following your voice and your passion, and you're not selling out on anything. You're just transitioning into another way to express yourself. And it's not like you can't do both. And if you want to shoot film, you can. But now you've found your voice through digital as well. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Mm-mm.
And it's something to be celebrated. And that's the thing I think as artists that's important, is that we celebrate changes and transitions, and especially if they allow us to be able to share something beautiful with the world, which is what you do. And that, that's something to be celebrated, which I then want to talk about, this wonderful event that you have, Bart, because you have a beautiful gallery event that's going on right now that's showcasing your beautiful photography.
Oh, I have this. I have this every year.
Mm-hmm.
The annual A Journey in Images photography exhibit at the Mooresville Public Library in my adopted hometown of Mooresville, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And this year's exhibit is called Images of Coastal Carolina. They're the This took me 10 years
Wow.
to take these photos. Some of them were taken with film,
Mm-hmm.
and others were taken just recently during the holidays in the on the Outer Banks around Thanksgiving.
I have to say, like, I've seen them, Bart, and the photos just from the beautiful event, which will be on my show's website and Matcha Talk's Facebook page, which I'm so excited about. But these photos are absolutely incredible, and how beautiful to share your journey within these 10 years from film to where you are now with digital. So what has that been like? I mean, that's amazing, Bart.
I think in a way, when I converted, it was like I wouldn't call it surreal, but mostly um, it was it was a way of saying I think you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're ready. It's time to put your old cameras away.
Mm-hmm.
They've
Yeah.
they've done they've done a great service for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and they brought you to where you are now, which
Mm.
is amazing. And I'm excited to share that with everybody, because I absolutely know that they're going to be as inspired as I am. And then tell me about Cafe Mocheri. I mean, how did
Uh,
that wonderful, wonderful page come
what?
about? Share that
Okay.
with me.
How did this bring about? Well, you know,
Because
there
talk about a positive
it
page,
is, and
Bart. It truly is.
that's what I want. That's what I want in this. That's what I want in this Facebook group. I wanted to create
Cafe.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I'm done. I finished mine.
Mm.
But anyhow, I I spoke to a couple of old friends of mine, old school friends of mine, and we thought, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great to have a cafe, Facebook coffee house group where everyone can come in. They it will be kind of a safe haven
Hmm.
where um, there's no negativity, no judgment, and yes, there will be posts of yummy yet very rich pastries, and
Yes.
I'm guilty as charged. I'm guilty. I'm
And
guilty as charged because of those. It's mostly the Portuguese pastries.
I see them. And in my mind, I'm substituting like the ingredients to make them
Why
vegan.
are you
I'm like,
trying to make
okay.
it vegan?
And all of the coffees and the beautiful coffees and the waffle cone with the coffee. Like, I'm always like
I
little
still
hearts
have to try
everywhere.
that. I still have to try that.
Oh my goodness. I mean, seriously. And I love that. And I think that's what you said, like bringing everyone together and it being this positive place where everybody, shares these beautiful desserts and coffees and inspiring quotes and
Yeah.
funny quotes. And it's just this beautiful, wonderful community that I just love and adore. And thank you for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And every morning when I greet everyone,
Yeah.
uh, that was brought about. I have a friend of mine and I go to the same church, Elevation Church in North Carolina, and there was one morning she broke into song. I mean, it was so loud that the nearby apartment complex started started banging their windows, telling us to be quiet. It's like 7 in the morning. So I was like, okay, I think I have a remedy for that. I'm gonna go to
Oh.
my, I'm gonna go to Cafe Mauceri, and I'm going to type in "Good morning."
Oh, I love it. And I'm thinking to myself, how wonderful though to wake up to some wonderful, wonderful woman just singing joyfully, right? Like just happily at the top of her lungs. Like you would be like, oh my goodness, what is happening? But that's okay because this is amazing.
That's right.
But
And
it
and
inspired you to do your good morning, which I love.
oh
And you are up, sir. By the way, I
yeah,
think between you and Herb, you are my early morning friends where, I'm like, oh, they're up as early as I am, if not before. And I am an early, early morning person. That is for sure. And
yep.
it's amazing.
I wake up at around 4:30.
Yeah. I know, and I think Herb is shortly after you. And what's funny is that Herb's out in California, so I'm like, and I'm here in Atlanta, and I think between the three of us, we've got the early morning hours covered. But it's so wonderful to wake up with like joyfully with beautiful art and photography and inspiring quotes and all of that. It's just sheer joy. It truly
Oh,
is.
absolutely. And and my photography is taken a more spiritual a more spiritual turn.
Hmm.
I mean, now that now that the subjects um, that I now shoot,
Hmm.
I I always include a Bible verse
Hmm.
that it that goes with the subjects. I mean, with lighthouses,
Hmm.
um, there's one in uh, the book of Matthew. It's "You are the light of the world."
Mm.
Uh,
love that, Bart, and I love your beautiful quotes. And I'm a Buddhist, and for me, I think that all religions essentially have one vision, and
Absolutely.
that's to make this world beautiful and a peaceful, loving world,
That's right.
and I love your beautiful quotes. They're absolute treasures, and that's why I'm smiling from ear to ear because they are, and that's why we need more of that, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Don't we, Bart? Yes, we do. And that's why we're doing it every day. And that's why I love my matcha talks. Because, like, when I have them, I'm just like smiling with whomever the artist is in front of me. That truly is a light. And I always say, art is a powerful voice.
It
And
is.
it is such a huge light, and it overpowers any darkness and any negativity. And love always wins.
That's right.
Always.
That's right.
And Bart, tell me, like, you gave me a little bit of like inspiration for artists, and earlier in our talk, which our entire talk is inspiring, but what can you share with like other photographers and young photographers who are kind of finding their voice and their vision, or artists out there? What can you kind of share with them through your journey?
You know, every photo, um, I'm going to go with what the mantra to A Journey in Images is. Every photo has a story,
Mm.
and it's up to us, the artist, the photographer, to interpret that story to the masses, and and you know, and and it doesn't matter what type of camera. I mean, even a point and shoot, high end point and shoot digital camera, or if you're or if you want to go all out and buy a digital SLR with all the bells and whistles, go for it. And also a camera phone, a nice high quality camera phone, and take photos of um what inspires you. I mean, it could be flowers in your garden, or or seashells that you picked from a day at the beach,
Mm-hmm.
or just spend the day in a city like Charlotte, or like New York, or Charlotte, or Asheville,
Mm-hmm.
um, because the buildings there are beautiful.
Or your beautiful family.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, your
They are
family.
my
Yeah.
inspiration for
Oh,
photography
oh, oh.
and
There we
everything that
go.
I
There we
do.
go. I mean,
I mean,
even think.
truly.
Oh,
Yeah.
even your family, your friends.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's a thing too, and I love that you said that, Bart, is just get your camera out and shoot, or get that piece of music out and write, whatever it is, learn something that you've always wanted to learn as an artist, because that voice that you have has always been there, now you're listening to it.
that's
And
right.
and I think that's what's most important, like you said, is don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to think I have to have this newest photo camera or phone or whatever it is. Just get out there and shoot. Just take a photo of something or a film of something, and just start right now, right here where you are.
That's right. And another piece of advice, that we all have a passion,
Mm-hmm.
and and instead of following your passion, how about leading your passion? Lead your passion to its purpose.
Mm, I love that.
That was something my pastor uh, has said.
Absolutely. And doesn't our art have a big purpose in this world?
Yes, it does.
Yes,
It
it
does.
does. Absolutely. And you and I are like glowing and, and joyful because when you are doing art that is true to who you are, true to your heart, your values, and for it to be a bigger purpose in this world to change things, to help people
Hmm.
to become aware and to bring joy and also to help them think, and show them something in a different way. And I truly believe that every single artist has that out there, and to remain true to who you are, no matter how challenging it may be. Because I feel like when you're trying to do something different or you're trying to do something new, it's kind of like, oh, what's that? I don't understand this. Like when you were going through, you know what I mean, your transition in, leaving a certain art form, right, and
Right.
doing something new, or you are creating something that hasn't been created before, and so it's something new and fresh that has this big beautiful message to share. I think we're always trying to like compare different art forms and all of that, and I'm always saying don't compare yourself with anybody else, right? Because that
Oh,
person over there is doing what is true to them, so you do what's true to yourself. And I feel like also with my shows, everyone's like, so what is it like, what can we compare it to, what can we, and I'm like, honestly, I can't compare them to anything because they're mine and they're coming from my voice, and I'm not comparing them to anybody else.
right. Oh, I agree.
Yeah. And
I
that,
agree.
yeah. And I feel like there's enough duplicity in the world. Let's bring more originals, and
That's
that's
right.
why you are an original, Bart Mauceri. I mean, you truly, truly are. And I'm honored to have you as my friend and to have you on my Matcha Talk and to share you and your story with everybody. And I'm excited to share your photography. I'm going to post it and share it, and just, and thank you for everything that you do, for everyone, from your wonderful, cafe to your beautiful photography, and just being such a beautiful, positive light in this world, Bart. I mean, you truly, truly are. And
Thank you.
and I'm thinking, I have to say, because I didn't ask you how you fill your cup. Here you are filling all of our cups, you know. And how do you, Bart? Like, how do you fill your cup in getting inspired?
I just stay original.
Yeah, yeah.
Stay original. Just um, be yourself.
And that is the key. And here you are, and you're giving us advice, right, again. But what about you, Bart? I mean, how do you replenish your cup? What do you do? Like, I know that your spirituality is a huge part of who you are,
I,
and your
you know.
family is a great support. But what about
Yep.
you? Because talk to me about that, because that's
Well,
important.
well, since being a I mean, I've become a born again Christian. I now go to um, an awesome church in the Charlotte area, Elevation, and my personal and spiritual life. Uh, I mean, I'm now I now start the day uh, with a scripture, with is getting out my Bible and and uh, read a scripture from it, or read a Bible verse from it. That's how I start my day.
Yeah, I love it. And that is so important, isn't it? It really truly is, to feed that part of your life. And I always say, I have my coffee and then I go in and I, chant and do my daimoku and fill my cup and connect to my life and, and read what we have, in my Buddhism is the Go Show and just get inspired because it is bigger than us, isn't it? Life
Yes,
is,
it is.
it's so much bigger than us and to be able to give to everybody, and our art, we definitely have to take care of our lives, our health, which I always say, that's why I have my matcha.
That's
I,
right.
I love my coffee, but I definitely, have my
Oh,
matcha.
I mean, I love coffee. There's no doubt,
Yes.
but there are some times I would
Yeah.
I would bring out I would bring out my I would bring out my green tea.
Yes. It is, and it's definitely a whole other energy. Like you just feel better. It has tons of antioxidants and it's just like gives you the power, I like to say, to get through that day in the best way that you can, especially when you are working on so many different things and passionately and and you have your family and everything else that you're giving, that it's important to take care of your health, most importantly. And I
And
know that, yeah.
we love and we really love our families.
Yes, we do. They are the most important thing in the
They are.
entire universe, aren't they?
They are.
Yes, they are. And Bart, thank you so, so much
And
again.
and thank you for inviting me. Uh, this this is truly wonderful.
Ah, it is my honor. Can you see I'm smiling? Like from
Yeah.
ear to ear. Like I've been so excited. And, and I have to say again, thank you so much for just being wonderful and just supportive of me and Kate and the babies and just, being absolutely incredible and such a positive force in this world. And I'm completely honored to have you on my Matcha Talk, Bart. I truly, truly am. And it won't be the last. Trust me, I'll have you on
No.
again. We definitely are going to do this again, and I'll have, all of your beautiful work on my sites as well. And thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
And enjoy your afternoon.
I
And
will.
go.
And God bless.
Thank you, and go take some beautiful photos so you can inspire
As,
us all.
as always, as always.
Thank you so much, Bart. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful episode of Matcha Talk. I'm so excited to have shared Bart's story with you. He is definitely an inspiration to me, and his photography is absolutely beautiful. You'll see links to Bart's work on my website, baddaycate.com, and Matcha Talk's Facebook page. You can also find out more about my animated series, Bad Day Kate, and Kate's spin-off series, The Babies. So everyone, until next time, grab your matchas and remember, go do what you love and love what you do.